Hey guys, it's Mike Does Blender. Today I'm going to show you guys simple and utmost basics of Blender. So to start off, I'm going to show you guys how to rotate and move your POV in Blender. So to rotate our view, we have to press and hold the middle mouse button and drag our mouse left, right, up, or down. Now for moving it, and not rotating, I mean moving our POV, we have to press and hold the shift button and press and hold the scroll wheel. And then just drag our mouse left, right, up, or down, same as in rotation. Now, when you make a fresh new Blender file, you are always going to met with this default cube. If you, Blender has pre-made shapes for you to use and edit. For example, to delete this default cube, I have to first select it by pressing L and B on it, and then pressing X, and then just confirming my delete by just pressing on it again with L and B. Okay, so to access the not default but like pre-made shapes for you, you have to press Shift A to pop open a small menu with many pre-made things for you. For example, all of the simple shapes are going to be in the mesh folder. So just hover your pointer over the mesh folder and select any shape you want. So for example, I'm going to choose the UV sphere. I click on it. Okay, and now we can actually see that it's really low poly, which is not like ideal. And to change that, you have to press on this small menu right here, add a UV sphere, and the name of like the shape is gonna differ from what shape you choose to modify. It's not texture but like graphic in. Also, this menu is only accessible when you add the shape, not after like you move or rotate and so on. So for example, I'm going to click on it and I'm going to increase the segments by just by holding my mouse button, left mouse button, and dragging my mouse right or left. And you can see that when the number is higher, it gets smoother. But I want to be smooth on both the segments and the rings. Same on the rings. Hold your mouse button and drag your mouse right or left to make it more smooth. Okay, that's pretty smooth. Now, to zoom in or zoom out on Blender, you have to scroll up for zoom in and down for zoom out. Okay, now, the fun part, moving objects in Blender. So, to move your object in Blender, first select your object and make sure it's green. Then, press G for grab, and then select any axis you want. X for pressing the X button, Y for Y, and Z for Z. Now, and if I want to move, for example, on the Y-axis, again, I have to first select it, press G, and then Y, and then just drag my mouse, not hold anything. Just drag my mouse right or left, and it's going to move it. And also, if you want a real like specific number for moving, it is right here on this object tab on your right. And you can actually input numbers. Like for example, I'm going to zoom out for a second, and I'm going to enter number 5 for the Y value. And now it just like pop to the right, 5 meters. Also, the origin of the world is this red and white circle here, which means 0, 0, 0 on all of the 3 axes. Now, and you can actually move on any axis you want. So for example, I'm going to press G and then Z to move it up, to move it up or down, and just drag my mouse up or down to move it, and so on. Now to rotate our shape. To rotate our shape, we can also input the numbers here. For example, if I want to rotate on the X-axis, I'll say like that. I have to press R for rotate, and then the X-axis for rotation on the X-axis. So now I'm going to just drag my mouse left or right. And the problem is you can't actually see it on a sphere. Okay, I'm just add a real cube so you guys can see it. For example, I'm going to press R and then X to run on the X-axis, and then just drag my mouse, not hold anything, just drag. Drag your mouse left or right. And actually, same as in moving your objects, you can also input like a value here, like for example 45, and it's going to be at a slant angle. Yep, there you go, slant angle indeed. Okay, now That's for rotation, and rotation could be on any axis. Like for example, I'm going to press a Control Z for undoing my action. Again, yep, there we go. Okay, now again to select it, press R and then X, drag your mouse, R, Y, drag your mouse, or R, Z, drag your mouse. Now, for scaling. Scaling is a really useful tool in Blender because it can actually change the object size on a specific axes, not all of them. For example, I'm going to do on all of them. Do all of the axes, just select your object and press S for scaling, or some people say sizing or size. Press S and just drag your mouse, not hold anything, just drag your mouse to look. So if you drag your mouse away from the center of the object, it's going to get bigger, and if you get it closer, the object getting smaller. So for example, away bigger, close smaller. Okay. Now, and you can actually also, for example, scale on a specific axis. Like for example, I'm going to rotate my POV for a second, and I'm going to scale only on the x-axis. So this red one right here. I'm going to press S and then X, and if you see, it only scales by the x-axis. You can actually see it. I'm going to just do that, 0, 0. Okay, there we go. And I'm going to press S and then X to just drag my mouse in any direction. And it only scales by the x-axis. Same thing for the y-axis. S and then Y, and drag my mouse away from the center, and it gets bigger by the y-axis. And same for the z-axis, and it's actually same for every rotation, moving or scaling. If you like press S, G, or R, and then the axis you want. For example, S, Z, and just drag it outwards, and it's getting bigger by the z-axis. Okay, and now if you only want to scale by only 2 axes, not 3, you have to press S and then press Shift and then whichever axis you want to exclude. For example, I want to only scale by the X and Y axes, so that only leaves out the Z axis, right? So I'm gonna press again. Select your object, Shift and then Z. Oh wait, nope, sorry. Alright, my bad, guys. S and then Shift Z. That means that only the Z axis is excluded from the sizing. And then again, just drag your mouse outwards or inwards. Okay, and now for the edit mode. The edit mode is a bit tricky because it is editing like specifically with a figure. And I'm going to explain to you guys only like simple parts of it, and later on, I'm just going to teach you guys how to do it. I'm in the next video. So to enter edit mode, you have to first select your object and then hover over this small menu right here, click on it, select edit mode. Now, you are presented with 3 options when you do this. You have the vertices right here, this button, and vertices are angles, you could say like that, which are these yellow dots right here. Now, second option is edges, which means like the sharp blue edges right here. And the third one, yeah, my favorite, is with faces. Faces are like these, you could say it's wall, I guess. And also, when something is selected in Blender, it is either green or orange. See how it's gray right now, and now it's a bit like orange, I guess? Okay. For example, I'm going to show you guys simple interactions with vertices and faces. It is a bit tricky. So now, I'm going to show you guys how to, for example, indent. What indenting means, it means creating a new face inside the existing face, which is smaller or bigger. It's actually problem is, it's actually really hard to explain with words, so I'm going to show you guys. So, I'm going to select my face I want, for example, this top face, and I'm going to press I for indent, and then drag my mouse inwards, not outwards, inwards, and you can see that there is a new face being formed. Exactly 5 faces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That means I can use them to edit or so on. So after indenting, you can do a really like wide spectrum of fun things. For example, I want to select this face, and basically just press on to select it. And then if you want to, for example, move the face, you have to press E for extrude, and just drag your mouse up. And this raises this exact face, like that. And this creates more faces when you drag it outwards. So for example, I can extrude this face by pressing E and just dragging my mouse, just like that. Alright, so this is what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more faces created. That's nice. And also, and problem is that you can also indent new faces. Like for example, this face I can also indent by pressing I and dragging my mouse inwards. Just do that and so on. And it's pretty fun. Okay, now to bevel. And beveling, it means making not the edges softer. Oh yeah. And beveling is making the edges softer. So you have to select a face. Like for example, I'm going to select this face right on top. And I'm going to press a Control B, not B, and Control B, and I'm going to drag my mouse outwards. And this should create a more like some new faces. And it's basically more raised. But if you want to be more rounded, you have to basically undo it and then press Control B again. Raise it a bit by dragging your mouse outwards, and then just scroll up to increase the faces. So it's now more smooth, as you can see right now. It's now more smooth. Okay. Now to switch out of the edit mode, you have to press again on the edit mode button and the object mode. Object mode is basically where you move and add new shapes. Alright, and now the fun part is actually making the colors. So first, there are four views in Blender. If you press and hold Z, a menu will pop up with Solid, Material Preview, Wireframe, and Rendered. For example, Solid is the most basic one, where you're always going to be in by default. And Material Preview is actually where we see colors if we add them. Wireframe actually lets you see through the shapes if you have really complex shapes, or like or water or wind simulating Blender that you want to see. So now I'm going to switch to material. Now I'm going to switch to Material Preview by pressing and holding Z and dragging my mouse downwards, and then just like releasing the Z button. Now it's the Material Preview. Now to change the color of your shape, you have to press and then go to this small tab, which is like a red black ball named Material Properties. Click on it, click New, and then by the base color, you have to press on it and then select any color you want. You can also enter like the RGB values right here. You can enter them if you want. Like for example, 1. Okay, yeah, it's a color. Pink. Okay. Now, if you want to animate, animation is a bit tricky. For animation, if there are really big shapes and small shapes, like big in size and comparison, your computer might slow down a bit, and that's really fine. Okay, now, to go into animation mode, you have to first go to this animation tab on the top, click on it, and this is a whole new mode, so it's a bit different. Okay, so also in animation mode, you can edit, you can add shapes, and so on. It's basically everything in animation, but just like this window is smaller. Now, to animate something, you first have to select the object. Okay, and these numbers on this small window means the tick frames, and the tick frames are sort of like a time measure in Blender. For example, I want to make this shape go from here to the right, just animation. So I'm going to select my shape, drag the tachometer, I don't know, tick stick, left, and I'm going to press I. I creates a new keyframe, which means like a starting and ending point for a shape. Now I'm going to select the time amount for this animation. For example, I'm going to drag my the tick stick to 60 frames, for example. And then, and only then, I can rotate, scale, or so on. For example, I'm going to scale by pressing S and just dragging mouse inwards, and then moving it right here. And now to confirm your change, you have to press I again to create a new keyframe. And you should have 2 sets of yellow points. Now, drag your tick stick back to 0 and press space for playing. And that creates an animation. And you can make complex animations with rotation, scaling, moving, and so on.